CollegeCorps and Conservation with Western Shasta RCD. Bear with me, I am pretty sick. I'm gonna try to get through this. Western Shasta Conservation District originally started in 1957, I believe, as originally as soils, and since then we've expanded our um, projects into very uh, diverse across the county. Western Shasta Conservation Resource Conservation District does not include the entirety of Shasta County. Fall River RCD makes up the eastern half of Shasta County, and to the north of us, we have Shasta Valley RCD. To the west, we have Trinity County RCD, and to the south, we have RCD of Tehama County. It has grown from a very small organization into a highly successful conservation district that is dedicated to the restoration and preservation of Western Shasta County's natural resources. Our projects or community events bring us to a wide range of terrain, and our home office is currently located in Anderson, California, which is a little bit south of Redding. And most of the surrounding rural communities have been heavily impacted by wildfire, and wildfire resilience is a priority for the RCD as well as many other community organizations. And in addition, we also work on projects involving wetland restoration, such as meadow restoration, stream restoration, and wildlife habitat restoration. The projects here cover a range of recent and historical conservation needs for landowners and community organization and collaboration. My capacity building goals that I established at the beginning of my year with my supervisor are to manage and expand upon the district's volunteer programs, including the Shasta CollegeCorps program, and to engage local citizens, partners, and other stakeholders in resource protection through the expansion of education and outreach programs, including social media, website, content development, and policies. The climate action volunteers were already started by the time I started my service year. And we started with 4, and then we had 3. And it's a program for low-income full-time students, and it's about 10 to 15 hours a week they need to meet their hours requirement. Overall, they had a 400-hour commitment, and 1 of them did reach their 400-hour commitment, and 2 reached a 300-hour commitment, but it's not all with the RCD. They have hours available to them through the college and through a separate partner. The 1 volunteer had a separate partner with Fall River RCD and our contracted, Big Bend Land Trust, sorry. And she worked a lot with our contracted registered professional forester on forest management plans. And when we all worked together, we worked on William Nelson Nature Preserve. It's a meadow restoration project that the RCD has. And it was really close to the college, and they were given many project opportunities here, but the weather did not always cooperate with us. This piece of land is like kind of right in the middle of town, and the wildlife there is really impressive for where it's located. It also has about 20 years of beaver habitat, and it's coming along nicely. The project manager, Dr. Andrea Klassen, is working on a very long and probably maybe up to a decade-long process of finding out what it would take to be able to do something called a beaver dam analog at this project, because it would help restore the water table in the meadow. But it involves like 5 different agencies because it's in the middle of the city as well as the landowner. The landowner is Allison, and she also runs 2 of the 3 CollegeCorps' other partner called Spring Rivers Foundation, and she does field trips where she brings youth out into nature, especially youth that maybe don't get a chance to go outside very much. When when our projects at Lilly and Nelson wouldn't work out, we would do forestry with the RCD's registered professional forester Chuck, and we would learn events and mapping and forest management plans. And he also provided a lot of reading material about the history of some of the lands that we were working on. And you'll see some pictures of this on the next slide. And then when all else failed, we would just join the field crew on various projects, which was really all over the place. And it was fuels reduction, wildlife habitat enhancement, native planting, invasive weed pulling, and some of it was on conservation easements, and some of it was on private landowners' property. Here's some pictures of the two CollegeCorps. The third CollegeCorps, Katie, she didn't really like her picture taken very much, so I didn't put her in here out of respect. But that's Lillian Nelson. They're pulling some invasive stinkwort. And then when we would do forestry with Chuck, the landowner's property that we spent a lot of time with helping Chuck on, with helping out with Chuck on is heavily burned. And we got to see some resilience of the forest on this property. And we also saw some of our own resilience when we got a flat. And then some pictures of other things that we worked on. This is a 4-year project that the RCD has. It's a Clear Creek restoration project. It's very successful. It's doing very well. I came in at the very end of it, so I don't know all the history, but we got to decommission a road, and so that big machine in the back ripped the road, and we got to plant 3 species of willow cuttings in the ripped section, and we got flooded out of this project for weeks and weeks, and so I don't know what it looks like now, but I hope it's doing well, and I plan to go check it out in my free time, because now the funding is also run out because it's closed. And then this is us chipping. This is a collaboration with the RCD and I think Shasta County Fire Safe Council, where landowners take some cuttings and we feed them into our brand new chipper. That's the field crew manning the chipper at the front. That's Ryan and Matt, and then Noah right next to them. And then some of the CollegeCorps and me at the back helping put branches into the chipper. Very safe. Some struggles that I had throughout my time with the CollegeCorps is the technology that they had available to them was like school Chromebooks, as well as like struggles with their own access to technology because they are low-income college students. So I advocated for them at the RCD that it's really difficult for students to get access to technology, and there was some older tablets that we were able to get access to, and that made it a lot easier for us to do a couple things like events and mapping and field maps and a little bit of iNaturalist taking photos of some native plants that we found around the nature preserve. Sometimes it was a struggle to get them to show up for organized service opportunities. Sometimes the RCD would have to cancel or reschedule opportunities. And sometimes they wouldn't read a response to messages. And so I had to come up with backup plans for myself for work to do when they wouldn't show up, because it's not easy to just go. My usual backup plan is to just work with the field crew, but I couldn't just do that if they no call no showed me. So I started a newsletter that's on there's 2 posted on our website. Stay tuned for the next quarterly newsletter. I haven't gotten a chance to finish it. And I would join in field work whenever it made sense if they weren't able to make it. And at one point I did have to contact the supervisor, but it got better after I did that. A couple things I would do differently. I did track the monthly hours that they completed with our monthly reports to GrizzlyCorps, but next time I think I would keep a track of no call, no shows. and maybe hours given, but didn't work out because at the end of their service term, we had a little bit of a crunch period where I was willing to like accommodate them because it was just like 10 to 12 hours. Um, but I think maybe that wasn't fair to the RCD staff for me trying to put the CollegeCorps in for their final hours when they did have a lot of opportunities that they didn't show up for. Um, and then during their service term from September to May, I had 25 to 30 hours to fill it in per week. In the beginning, I spent a lot of my time um, fleshing out their help that's available to them. I created a Google Drive for them. I provided materials for them. I provided community calendars for them because the RCD is willing to approve hours for them to go to community events with other organizations such as CNPS or Shasta Environmental Alliance. Um, and when I got that all fleshed out, that's when I started the quarterly newsletter and I attended community events like you see on the screen here. The first one, that's one of the first events I went to at the top. I was tabling with CollegeCorps Candi. We had kids color us pictures to win candy. It was really fun. Um, and then the bottom one, I'm working with Ryan and Matt. That's Matt, they're standing behind me. And we're using the floodplain model to teach kids about wetlands. And it was really fun. And I also had a side quest of bringing the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, which is I created a blog post, but I don't know if it ever got posted. Um, and then I transitioned full-time into grant 3563 California Wildfire Resilience Grant with the 4 forestry interns. One of them already left and is doing other things. But the other 3 go back to school shortly, and I'll be sad. We're working in the field at different landowner properties in the eastern side of the county, and we're working a lot with the contracted registered professional forester that we have on that side of the county, as well as our professional forester. And we're taking tree inventory on different properties, and some of these properties are burned over, and some of them are very well managed. And so we're getting to see what and some of them are burned over, but we're also well managed. And so we're getting to see what well managed property looks like, what maybe not so great managed property looks like, what burned property looks like, and what managed but did burn property looks like. And it's really cool. I want to I think that was really fast and I forgot to talk about a couple things, but that's okay. I want to thank my district manager, Maureen, the GrizzlyCorps team, and all the Grizzlies, and the registered professional forester, Chuck, for being able to accommodate the college students when their schedule changed and they were kind of only available in the afternoons, and Jeremy for teaching us all the fieldwork things and all the field crew for not letting us, but encouraging us when it was hard work, and Allison at Spring Rivers for the opportunity to work with kids in the classroom and being awesome. These are also all of the organizations, not all of them, most of the organizations that I got to interact with throughout my year. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Point Blue and Spring Rivers Foundation and Shasta Land Trust are part of the Lila Nelson Nature Preserve. Horstown Clear Creek Preserve is where we trained all of the new interns on native plants, and RPF Chuck is also a board member for the preserve. Shasta Environmental Alliance hosted us for a tabling event for Earth Day, and Shasta County Fire Safe Council and CAL FIRE are part of this project that I got to do home hardening and defensible space training with. Turtle Bay Exploration Park let us grow native plants at their nursery because my coworker Ryan started a monarch fellowship program where we're growing milkweed and some other native plants for the monarch butterflies. And National Public Lands Day with the BLM. Oh, that's the Department of Interior. And then the Green Tree is the nonprofit side of the Western Shasta RCD, and they helped. The board approved the funding for bringing Wild and Scenic Film Festival to the RCD. Does anyone have